on live. We're probably already live because it takes a while for that thing to get,
Yeah, to say we're live is a card.
All right. So we were talking a little bit about karma, and today we call it karma in America. In Thailand, they call it kama. But today I just felt like when I was in Thailand up on the mountain studying with the monks, one of them said to me, get the chanting book and read the chants in English. It will tell you the whole story. And he's right, because everything they chant has to do with helping other people. And so this particular one that I just opened the page and it came to this. I am the owner of my own karma, heir to my own karma, born of my own karma, related through my karma, and live dependent on my karma. Whatever I do, for good or for evil, to that will I fall heir. Mm-hmm. We should frequently reflect on this. So this is saying whatever thoughts I produce, right? This is why it's so important to pay attention to your thoughts. Because whatever thoughts you're producing, they're producing something. Your karma is coming. Good or bad, whatever it is, you're creating it in your own mind, right? So this one says, phenomena are preceded by the mind, ruled by the mind, made of the mind. So that's your karma, right? Anything that happens, your thought process is creating it. Things don't happen without a thought. Like you don't even go to the bathroom without thinking about it. This is true, right? We think, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. You get up and go to the bathroom. But you had to have a thought to do that. So every thought you have is producing something. So it says, if I speak or act with an impure mind, suffering will follow. It's breaking it down very simply because this is a truth it's speaking. Mm-hmm. We don't know it because we haven't been told this our entire life. We've been told, oh, don't worry about it. Don't think about it, right? You have to think about what you're thinking about because you're creating. You're the master here creating your own world. What are you going to create? Mm-hmm. As the wheel of the cart follows, the steps of the cattle draw it. Phenomena are preceded by the mind, ruled by the mind, made of the mind. If one speaks or acts with a pure mind, happiness follows him as the shadow that will never leave. Isn't that beautiful? Mm-hmm. So if we think of these, kindness, metta, right? Loving kindness. If we think this in our mind, what will happen? Happiness will follow us. It will never leave us. But if we think the opposite, that's going to come too, right? So these are things, this is why it's so important to know, sometimes what you're hearing, what are they chanting? They're all good chant. They're all about giving their karma, what they've gotten. This is what the monks chant about. They give you the good karma that they have created. They're giving it to everyone. Everyone. And it's not only everyone. Let's see if I can find this one it's also giving it to the people that aren't so kind, right? The people, we think we should only be kind to those who are kind to us. But really, we need to be kind to those who are not kind to us. Why? Well, it's not their karma we're creating. We're creating our own karma. I don't care how mean they are, how ugly they are, whatever. I'm going to still be in loving kindness inside myself. Right?
I think it was about almost 2 years ago now, it was crazy. You told me because I was struggling being surrounded by really negative people. You're like, those are the people who need love the most because they don't see it. And by giving it to them, it helps them give it to themselves so that they can start healing and giving them stuff.
So you have got to, but I didn't say that for you to give yourself away.
No, it was just don't be mean to them or give
right. Don't be mean.
Don't give it back to them when they're mean to you. give
Because-
them love back, because that's
Yes.
not playing into it and being negative.
Yes, because two people being mean only makes more mean. You know, that's how the wars keep going and going and going, because nobody says, "Hey, I'm gonna be nice." You know, peace out. Let's try to be kind to each other. You know, in every relationship that you have. It doesn't mean you have to stay in a toxic relationship. It means you can go in loving kindness. You know, and that's a beautiful thing when you do that. But you have to remember inside yourself that this is something that you're doing inside of you. Has nothing to do with anything outside of you. And we take everything outside of us and bring it in and make it ours, and then we're fighting inside ourselves. But that's a fight you don't need to have, because all of that is outside of you. All of it. The only thing that's going on is the conversation you're having in your mind. What kind of conversation are you having in your mind? What do you want to do for yourself? And I know it sounds kind of weird to say that, because all our life we've been taught complete opposite. Oh, you got to take care of everybody else. Taking care of yourself is selfish. That is a lie. It's not a truth. The truth is that if you take care of yourself, then you can help someone else. But you have to do you first. And you can't get halfway there and then start helping everybody. Because what happens? Then you're taking on all their stuff. You're not complete. And then you go crash and burn. You know? And you don't need to do that. You can finish you. They'll get what they need. Everybody always does. We seem to think that we're the lying force that will take them where they need to be, but we're not. They're the only ones that can take them where they need to be. We can't do it for them.
That's like the big one.
Yeah, it's a huge
It's
one.
a huge one. Especially when you want to help people.
Yes.
Yeah.
But why do we want to help people? Like
Normally it's because or we don't want to look at ourselves.
Right.
That's when I normally help, but
Right.
I don't want to say it that way, but I
But
don't want to
it's
look at
true.
me. Oh, you need help? I'm here.
Yes.
Mine's like, oh, I can help you because I have something to offer, but it's usually my ego saying, oh, I've been there.
Yeah,
I
yes.
can help that way.
Yes. And I can tell you that most of the time when that happens, you go in, you're attaching to their stuff.
Yes.
And then you start suffering inside of yourself because of their suffering. And don't do it. Please. It doesn't work like that. You know, I don't sit at home every day and go, who can I help today? No. You know, I sit at home, and if I'm at home, I'm thinking, how can I help myself become a better person? That's what I think about all the time. I think about how can I bring love and kindness into my heart and be a better person and live like that inside myself. That's the only way you can do it. You know, it's not coming from someone else. It does not. There's no way, no how. And there's a bunch of people out there charging a lot of money to help people, to do all kinds of things, read their cards, teach them meditation. All of it should be free. I'm going to say that out loud, and people are not going to like it. But I know, because I went down that road. I charged before. And the minute somebody said, why are you charging for that? It became free, because they were right. Learning how to do this should be free. If you're paying somebody, you need to look at that somebody, because now if people want to donate to that person, that's fine and good. They can donate, because it's coming from their heart and how they feel that they've been helped. But for someone to charge you to help you find peace inside yourself? No. And I can say it with all honesty because I've done it. And the minute I knew, I called each one of you and I said, I'm so sorry that I charged you. Please forgive me, right? I should have never charged you for that. Because in America, it's a money racket. It's a money racket. Oh, somebody's suffering, let's charge them. They'll pay anything to get out of their suffering. This is true. This is true. I know. How do I know? Because I paid. I paid people to try to get out of my suffering. Did they help me? No. No, I didn't get out of my suffering. I was still deep in it. How did I get out of it? By someone who taught me for free. From their heart. Who had already done it themselves. Right? That's how you know. If they're charging you, that's too much. That's too much. And I'm sorry, I did it, and I will, admit that. And I apologize for it. But no one should charge to teach someone how to have peace. Because it should be free to all of us. And if it were free to all of us, and all of us learned it, the world would be beautiful, wouldn't it? Can you imagine a world of loving kindness? People walk around, oh, can I help you with that? Sure you can, right? Thank you. I'll help you tomorrow, right? Beautiful, loving kindness. I've lived in that. I know what that is. That's why I teach what I teach, because I was like, oh, we need more of this, right? We need more of this. It's a beautiful thing. Inside of you, but it has to come from inside of you. You can't expect to get it from everybody else and not be given it. Because whatever you're given, right, you're getting. So pay attention. It gets a little confusing because then you're like, well, I'm not supposed to teach because I'm not ready yet, right? So how do I give? All you have to do is say, you know what? I love you. This is not my problem. I'm sorry that you're going through this, but I cannot take it on. You can speak truth like that. What's the problem with that? Too many times we don't speak our truth, and then it creates a bunch of stuff, and usually we're the one at the short end of the stick because we've given of ourselves, and not all we've gotten in return is the garbage that they're having in their life. So you can say, I love you, but I cannot take your problems on. They are not mine. And I have my own stuff I am working on, right? This is true with everybody. I have my own stuff I'm working on. But we think we need to help everybody when we can't. It's impossible. You can't help everybody. You can't. It's just impossible. Don't try. Help yourself. In helping yourself, you will start helping others just by your actions. And that will be miraculous. You'll witness miracles happen when you do that. Truly, you will. But if you're not doing it and you're taking on their stuff, what are you witnessing? Suffering. Right? You're witnessing not only them suffering, but then you start taking on their suffering, and you're witnessing you suffering, them suffering, and anybody you come in contact with. Right? Mm-hmm. That's what happens. Because we are the heir of our own karma. So whatever we're putting out, we're getting back. Don't try to help when you can't help. Just speak it. I love you, but I can't, I got my own stuff right now, this is you. This is, and really, they are heir to their own karma. So whatever's happening in their life, if you interfere with it, you're taking away their lessons. And you're going to get some of your own.
Yes.
Yes, we know that one.
Yeah, I know that one. Interfering in people's problems that they have not only can lead to, I don't know. I've gotten bit pretty bad by involving myself in stuff that I shouldn't have, and it was a lesson of.
Yeah, it's always a
There's
lesson.
like almost like a responsibility, like when you involve yourself, especially if like you're giving advice or something like that.
Mhm.
And I've noticed recently because I've had a friend like ask me some advice. I'm like, I don't want to be responsible for how you interpret this or how you use it, so I'm just not going to say anything because I don't want that. I don't want it to come back and harm you and then me be responsible
Right.
for that harm.
Right.
And like, so I just like, whatever, like, you go do, you do
Right.
you is what I've
You
been
do
saying
you.
a lot.
That's right.
To
That's
my
right.
friends, like, you do what you think is right, and I love and support you from over here.
Yes. Because it's easy. It's easy to get caught in somebody else's stuff. Because it's our training. Our whole life, we've been trained. Oh, they're suffering. We have to go make them feel better. You cannot. You can't. If you try, you're gonna suffer with them. Pretty soon, you're feeling sad with them. You're crying with them. Oh, what has happened? You just gave yourself away, right? You just went from peace. You just went from balance to imbalance and suffering. That's what happens every time. And I'm not saying don't help people. There'll be people sending messages to me. Oh, you're not supposed to help anybody? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't help anybody. I'm saying help them with loving kindness. Don't get involved in their stuff. Just help them with loving kindness. Be like, I love you. I can't get involved in that. That's not about me. And, it's kind of difficult at first, but I say it all the time to pretty much everybody. It's not about me, right? I do. To all of you guys. And I'm teaching you, but I say it to you all the time because that's the truth. It's not about me. It's about you doing you. No matter what I say and how much I want you to get it and how much, I want peace for everybody, I got to do me. And y'all got to do you. And that's where you're going to find your peace. That's how you find your peace, by doing you. Bringing loving kindness into your heart. Master Boomni, he was the first one to tell me about metta, right? The first one, metta, loving kindness. And he said it about everything. His enemies, and he had some enemies, right? He said, metta Kim. Please don't. No, metta Kim. Metta. Right? Just show them loving kindness inside yourself. Not throwing it at them, throwing it at you. Showing them loving kindness inside yourself. You're giving yourself loving kindness. Doesn't matter what anybody does on the outside. It's when we attach to whatever's going on the outside, we forget to love ourselves. Right? We forget that. We're like, oh, let me see what they got some bad stuff going on. That's not good. Let me suffer in that a little bit. Right? But you're not actually saying that, but that's what you're saying. That's what you're doing inside yourself. You're thinking about their problem and making it yours. And it 100% of the time will create suffering in you. It just does. That's just the way it rolls. Unfortunate, but it's true. Maybe it's fortunate because we can't do anything about anybody else. So it's teaching us. And if we pay attention, that it's huge. This eightfold path right here is the actual roadmap. And if y'all do these things, it actually works. If you don't do them, or if you just do them part-time, it's not, it'll maybe make you feel a little bit better, but you have to do these all the time. the right view. Loving kindness, right? Knowing that there is suffering in this world, right? This is the right view. You know this. We know without a doubt there's suffering in this world, right? But there's an end to it. It doesn't stay. It doesn't last, right? There's a cause. I missed the cause, right? What's the cause? Whatever you're creating in here, that's the cause. You have to know this, right? Because if you're sitting here, I don't know why I'm sad. I don't know why I'm unhappy. I don't know. It's because you don't know your thoughts. That's why. Know your thoughts. The minute you start being aware of what your thoughts are, you can change your view on things. Oh, I know there's suffering in this world, but I know what the causes are. They are my thoughts. Or your thoughts can prevent suffering. Either way, right? That's the right view. I know there's suffering. I know that my thoughts create them one way or the other, right? Oh, I know that there's an end to suffering. It doesn't last forever. No matter how bad you're suffering, there are moments in time when you're not. That means it doesn't last all the time. There are moments that you're not, even in the most horrific situations, right? There's still moments in time where you're not suffering, right? And then if you realize that, then you can lead yourself down the path of non-suffering. That's that, right view. Right view, right thought. What are you thinking today, right? See, your view and your thought come together. What are you going to create, right? There's a creation happening. Then you're going to start speaking. And you'll have a whole conversation in your own mind. Right? It's true. You have a whole conversation. No, that's not right. Yeah, that's right. No, you'll have this whole conversation. You do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, I don't know what I was thinking about. Yes, you do. You just had a whole conversation. Know this, right? Because you're going to speak it and you're going to act on it. This is what's happening. You're doing this inside your own mind. And this is the path that's either going to lead you to suffering or lead you away from suffering, depending on the action that you do, right? Are you going to take that and marinate the suffering? Or are you going to go, oh, no way. I've already been down that path. I'm not walking that path again. I'm going down the one that has the cushions on it, right? But then you have to have the right livelihood, which means what? You can't be out being a prostitute. That's probably not the right livelihood, right? Dealing drugs, probably not the right livelihood, right? But not only the livelihood as far as what you do for work, but the livelihood is what you do. Your work is a small bit of who you are. It's not actually anything that you are. What's money? Paper.
Yeah, just what you have to live in this world.
But you don't have to have as much as you think to live in this world.
Nope.
Especially in the Western world, we have to have the best of the best.
It's very materialistic.
It is.
It's like, oh, that's the latest greatest. Gotta have. It's
Yes.
constantly grabbing
Yes.
for things that you don't need, or nor do you actually really want.
Yes. Right.
And
But
that's
it's for show.
yeah. Oh, I have to have it.
And that's
So-and-so
the
just got
livelihood.
this. Yeah.
See, this is part of the livelihood. And thinking about this, I see it happen all the time. All the time. I tell people, do you really need it? Or is this just something you're talking? What do you need? Well, really what we need to live in this world, we need water. We need food. We need shelter. other than that, everything else is something special, right? That we don't really need. We need food, we need water, we need shelter. So in order to get that, we either have to build our own house, we could plant our garden, we could self-sustain, but instead we go out to eat, and I'm not saying any of this is wrong, okay? I'm just saying really take a look at what your needs compared to your wants are. And your wants will make you suffer. And this is truth, because what happens, and I've done it myself and I've seen it in life, is we decide we need something that we don't need, and then it creates a burden for us because it costs money. And then we're bound to that payment of whatever it is. A car payment, a house payment, a credit card payment, whatever. Then we start more and more and more and more. Oh, they get you when you're young. When you go to college, they send you all these credit cards. Oh, you've been pre-approved. So you're like, oh, well, I don't have any money right now because I'm going to college. Let me use it.
100%.
But then you got to pay for it, right? And that thought, they don't tell you, wait a minute, you're going to have to pay for this later, right?
You pay more for it because of interest.
Yes, you do. More for it because there's an interest, and usually a credit card will have a fee once a year, and so you got to pay for that too. They get you all the way around. Mm-hmm. So if we listen to that, it's getting us deep, 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 deep into debt, into suffering. Right? It happens. That's the American way. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Most other countries don't have that. They're like, oh no, we live on cash. We live on what we make. Mm-hmm. They're starting to get it because they want to be like Americans. Yeah. And I say, please don't.
Which is funny. I want to not live like an American. I want to go back to where I'm paying cash for everything.
Yes.
That's my ultimate goal in life, is just to go back and not pay for, have all this debt and credit cards, and it's too much.
And that is why I live like I live now. That's why I live like that. Because I don't want any job or anything to own me. Mm-hmm. Because that is not peaceful.
It's not freedom.
No.
It's not freedom at all.
No, it's not. You are under the gun all the time to make a certain amount of money to be able to, And people say, well, I need to make this much but the thing of it is if you start getting rid of those things that make you need to make that much, then you won't have to make that much.
Yeah.
Which is what I had to do. But it's free. When you start letting go of things that own you, it's a freedom. It gives you peace. You start understanding that, that was something I really didn't need at all. It didn't make any difference in my life whatsoever. I used to have a ton of shoes. I used to have a ton of clothes. I used to have, you name it, I had it. But what did I really have? Nothing. I was owned by all that stuff. And then I had to climb out, where is the daylight? All this stuff is bogging me down. But now it's freedom because you have nothing bogging you down. You can live in freedom. Live in what you need, not what you want. Because what is want? Craving. What is craving? It is suffering. It's also your ego. Anything you want, anytime you want something, that's your ego saying, you need to have that. Right? I need that. But what do you really need?
It's never ending.
No, it's never. It doesn't.
bottomless. It's limitless.
That's
It's
right.
never end.
People are like, if I have this, I'll be happy. And then once
Yes.
they have it, they're like, well, but if I have this, then I'll be
Yeah,
happy.
it's a never ending. So there we are, livelihood. Then we come down to effort. See, we covered a lot in that livelihood, didn't we? It's not just your work. This is it. It's your livelihood. What's making you live in this world? Right effort. Oh my goodness. This is a hard one for a lot of people because we think we're giving it the effort, right? Inside our minds, we tell ourselves, oh, we're doing it. We're giving it the effort. But are you really? Have you gone through each one of those steps and had a conversation in your mind? And I would say probably not if you're in suffering, right? Because when you do this, when you say these things inside yourself, so you know if you're in suffering, number one thing, you know it's not going to last. You know, so if you speak that to yourself, that's the right view right there. Number one, right view. Oh, this isn't going to last. Tell yourself the truth about it. It's a temporary thing. I did something, now I'm suffering the consequences, it's going to go. This is how it is. This is truth. But we don't look at it that way because we're not taught to look at it that way. We're taught to be controlled by everything. And we're not doing any of the controlling inside ourselves. So I'm teaching you how to control yourself, right? How to control your thoughts, how to control your actions. What are you doing? Think about it. Have a conversation. It's not crazy to talk to yourself. It's crazy not to talk to yourself because you're the only one here in here. So if you're not having a conversation with yourself, you're letting your mind just chatter. And the next thing you know, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why I'm suffering. But the reason is because you weren't paying attention to yourself. All right. Mindfulness. That encompasses effort, mindfulness. They follow each other. There's a reason. Because these things happen automatic, right? They happen automatic when you start the steps, start the process, right? Right view. I know that I'm suffering, but I know I will not suffer forever. Tell yourself the truth about it. Right there in that spoken word to yourself, it will start stopping the suffering. It will start that process right there. But if you don't and you just go, oh, I don't know why I feel bad. This is horrible. Then you're in it and you're keeping going. You're letting yourself just talk yourself into suffering. Speak the words. Oh, I'm suffering right now, but I know this will end and it will end soon because I am going to have the right view about things. Right? You just tell yourself this. Then automatically, see, this is the beauty of this. Automatically, when you speak that to yourself, your thoughts automatically start to go in the right direction. It's not like you have to give it an effort to make yourself start thinking that, right? To have the right view. You have to give that effort. Okay, I'm suffering. I know that I'm feeling like this for a reason, but I know it's not going to last. Immediately, you're going to start feeling that. I know it's not going to last. Nothing lasts forever, so this will not last forever. Immediately, you're telling yourself something. Your thoughts are changing. They're changing right then. But you got to continue that, right? You got to continue that. Then you're going to go talking to yourself, right? You've already started the thought process of, oh, okay, I know this isn't going to last forever. These thoughts are just something I'm telling myself that aren't truth. Because whenever you're suffering, you're thinking about something in the past or something in the future, right? Or something that has nothing to do with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another one.
Right? So all of this is outside of you. It's not in this moment in time. It's not happening right this second. So if you start telling yourself the truth, then your thoughts will follow. Then you're already speaking the right speech to yourself. Follows. You're doing the right action because you've already started the action. So it's 8 steps, but really once you start the first one, it's like, you know how when you play dominoes and you have the dominoes stacked up and you hit one and it just that's the eightfold path. You do the first one, the second one follows. It's like the domino. Until all of a sudden, I'm not suffering anymore. Look at that. But you have to do it. You have to make that effort to do the first step, to start yourself on that. And a lot of times we get stuck right there. But you don't have to get stuck right there. Because if you can just remember, this is not permanent, right? Like you really have to speak to yourself. It's a process of telling yourself truth. All our life, we have not done that. We have told ourselves all kinds of stories. So I'm going to tell you what I'm drinking. I'm drinking, just on a side note, I'm drinking cinnamon in my water.
Oh, I smelled cinnamon and I was like,
Yeah.
I don't see a candle.
I'm drinking cinnamon in my water because it's a really good anti-inflammatory and it helps with your gut health. So that's why I'm drinking it. And it tastes good. You know, I was doing apple cider vinegar, which it doesn't taste good. You know, I don't like that. Yeah, it's just like, but it helps, you know, with your digestion and heartburn and all that. But this also does that, and it tastes good, and I like it. So that's what I'm drinking. See, I'm taking care of me. This is an example. This, you know, I told you this for a reason. I'm taking care of me. I do this because I don't want to have something make me suffer. Heartburn will make you suffer, right?
Absolutely.
It makes you suffer. Anybody else want a water?
I'm good right now, but thank you.
So I decided that I wanted to take care of me. So that's what I do. I put this in, and it's warm. And thank you, Ajanapon. He gave me this in India, actually. So this thermos has gone all over Thailand and India and all over the place. And Ajanapon gave it to me. That was nice of him, right? He had 2. He said, I don't need 2. You have 1. Okay? He gave without the expectation of anything in return. Katan Witi. That's what that's called in Pali. Giving without the expectation of anything in return. It's beautiful. You know, it's beautiful. So last week I hit a little bit on our parents, and I'm going to go back to that, you know, because our parents gave us birth. We would not be here if they did not give us birth, right? So no matter what they have done in our life or haven't done in our life, right? We have to forgive them. And we have to, well, we don't have to, but you'll just suffer over it. You know, if you don't forgive, you'll just be suffering, and there's no point in it. And if you do forgive, I can tell you beautiful things happen. I did it in my life. My mom, I was at odds with my mother for a long time in my life, many years. I didn't talk to her. I was fortunate enough to be able to take care of her when she was dying. And before that point, I apologized to her. See, we have to do that, not for them, but for us. We're cleaning ourselves. Doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter. No matter what they have done in your lifetime, they gave you life, and you would not be here if it were not for them. So I'm not saying you have to be best friends with them, but I am saying forgive them. show them loving kindness. Because when you do that, without expectation of anything in return, okay? Because a lot of times you'll do it in your own little selfish way, and then you expect them to do something in return. Oh, I'm sorry too. Or, oh yeah, that, it's okay, don't worry. Don't expect a response. Just do it because you're cleaning your own house. Has nothing to do with them. See, we're working on us. Got nothing to do with them. If you make it about them, you are going to suffer. See, we have to do it with them. I've done it with my mother. I've done it with my father. I go to see my father every time I come back from Pittsburgh. He lives an hour away from me. But I am cleaning my own self. I'm showing him loving kindness. I'm showing him loving kindness. And that's a beautiful thing. Things happen when you do that. First of all, you start feeling a little better about yourself. See, when you start giving loving kindness without expectation of anything in return, you start feeling a little better about you. That's a beautiful thing right there, right? It is. It's a beautiful thing because then you're learning how to love yourself. You're learning how to love yourself through giving other people loving kindness from your heart. See, most of the time we don't know how to love ourselves. I mean, that's the truth of the matter. There's so many commercials, even on Facebook, even on, when you think you're not going to, even on YouTube, you think you're not going to get a commercial, you get a commercial. And most of it, oh, you need to lose weight? Here, let me give you, telling you you're not good enough. You're good enough just the way you are. Your weight will go. If you need to lose weight, it'll go when you're doing you, when you're loving you. Reason you have weight on, because you're not loving you. It's okay. You will. The more you love yourself, the easier it will be. You don't even have to think about it. Don't think about it. Because the more you think about it, the more it'll lose you. And that's with everything, If you want enlightenment, don't sit around and think about, I want enlightenment. It's going to elude you. Think about, I'm going to give loving kindness today. I'm going to give it to myself. I'm going to give it to everybody I meet. You're practicing when you do that. You're practicing giving yourself loving kindness. And I'm not saying go out with everybody you meet and be like, I'm going to give you some love, right? They will think you're crazy, right? Just do it. Just be kind. A smile, right? Just a smile. Even if you don't feel like smiling, smile anyway. Open the door for someone. Just little things. It doesn't have to be expensive for somebody. It can be as easy as just, how is your day? How you doing? And actually listening. Mm-hmm. Don't ask somebody how you doing if you don't want to hear it, because they're probably going to tell you. If you're asking, they probably got something going on they want to tell you about. So if you don't want to know, don't ask that question. But if you ask that question, listen, because they're telling you something about themselves. So take the time to listen. Don't take it on. I said listen. Right? Don't feel like you got to fix it. You can't fix them. Just listen. That's all it takes. Okay. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. Whatever. Oh, well, that's a good story. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing is a good one. It's even.
Because sometimes saying I'm sorry, because even though at the time for them, but that might be a something else benefit to them. So I don't know. It's always kind of.
Well, mostly in America, we say we're sorry for whatever is going on. So if you want to say that, say it. But If you say, thank you for sharing, that's an even space. That's not saying, oh, I'm going to take your stuff on. It's just, oh, I heard you.
It almost seems empowering, like encouraging people to speak their truth. Like,
Yes.
thank you for actually
Yeah,
being
for sure.
honest.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's okay.
yeah. Because then you can move on without taking it on. Do not take other people's stuff on. I can't say this enough. I mean, really, because it's easy to do. You know, everybody wants to give you some of their suffering because they don't want to be alone in their suffering, right? Right, Michelle? You had that phone call, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was somebody not wanting to be alone in their suffering.
And and she even said that she didn't want to be alone or something. She said she called my mom, so she called my dad, and then she finally called me.
Oh, aren't you the lucky one?
Yeah. So she was trying to get a hold of them first because she couldn't get a hold of them, and then she finally called me. So she was telling me that she didn't want to be alone in her suffering.
Right. But that's not your responsibility.
No,
Right.
it's not.
No. No.
I think that's why I was having a hard time on the phone because I was like, what am I supposed to do here?
It's okay to say, you know what? This is not about me. You're going to have to figure your own, this is about you. You got to figure it out yourself. You can't, what are you going to do?
Or something I can do.
Right. There is
Like,
nothing that you can do.
There's nothing. I can't take this on for her. I can't fix it for her.
No.
I can't fix what's going on.
There
It's none of
is
my
zero you can do.
It's none of my business.
Right. It's zero you can do. So if we know this, there's no point in that whole circle of karma that, you don't have, you can just say, speak your truth. Truth is number one. It is number one, such a thing, truth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Speak your truth. This is not about me, Thank you for sharing, but there's nothing I can do. I have no way to do anything in that situation. And this is true. You cannot fix someone else's situation, no matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. If you try to fix it, it's going to make you suffer because it's not yours to take on. It's someone else's journey. I don't take y'all's stuff on. And y'all know that, right? Every one of you know that I don't take your stuff on. Now, I may call you and go, okay, I want you to look at this and see how it's affecting you. And I've done it with I have done it with everybody in this room. But that is just me saying, I'm trying to give you a little guidance and I want you to be aware of look at it, be mindful, pay attention to what's going on with you. And when you do that, if you're paying attention, you'll see things that are not like what we're used to looking at. We can see when you start being mindful inside yourself, you start to see things for what they really are. And we're not used to seeing things for what they really are. We're used to seeing them with a veil over them. Right? Do you understand what I mean by that?
Mm-hmm.
We're used to seeing them sugar-coated and make it look like it's right. But when we actually speak the truth inside ourselves, we see the truth for what it really is. And that's important. This is how you can do it. This is how you do it. But like I go over this path, this eightfold path, almost every time we meet. There's a reason. I say it in a little bit different way. Tonight I brought the karma in. What is karma? It's just an action, a reaction to an action, right? That's what karma is. It's a reaction to an action that you have taken. The thought in your mind, that's an action. So then you have a reaction to it. Good or bad, right? Makes you feel good, makes you feel bad, right? You have got to understand this inside yourself, and then you can start cleaning your house, sweeping your floor. This creates suffering. I remember that. out the door with you, right? For yourself.
Mhm.
And give yourself loving kindness, right? It's really simple, but it's difficult because we've thought of it in a different way our entire life. Now we're starting to think in a different way now. And we've had a lot of previous thoughts going on. So it's like we had a habit that we did over and over and over and over and over. And it was consistent. And so it was kind of mindless. We didn't know we were doing it over and over and over and over and over again. And that's how it became a habit, because we just continue to do it. Now we're creating a new one. Now we're creating a new habit inside ourselves. We're going to be aware of our thoughts. This is a habit we have to get into, to be aware of what you're thinking. Once you start that habit and you realize, oh yeah, I was thinking that, let me change that thought, right? It switches something inside of you. And the more you do it, you might have to do it 1,000 times a day. I'm just saying, you may not, but you might. So what? So those moments that you do it means those are the moments that you're not in suffering. And every time you do it, that's less time that you're back here in the old space.
Mm-hmm.
And that's more time that you're in this space of non-suffering. But you have to do it over and over and over again. Then pretty soon you get used to it. Like, I don't even think about it. I already know right away. Then I know when y'all are going through it. Because I know it so well inside myself, I can see it in y'all, right? Then I'm like, okay, right? I say it. Pay attention to your thought. What are you thinking? I don't know. It's not an answer, right? But that's what it's not an answer. That's not a good answer, because I'm asking you for you. I'm asking you for you to tell yourself what you're thinking. I'm not asking you to tell me what you're thinking. I'm asking you to be aware of what you're thinking. For you, not for me. Got nothing to do with me. I'm just kind of holding your hand and guiding you through these steps. But you're doing it. All of you are doing it, or you wouldn't be here, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just step by step by step. Sometimes when you're like, nope, this is too much. I'm out for a little while, right? You tag out for a little bit. That's okay. That's all right. Do you. But most of you just come right back because this is. I'm not telling you to do anything for me. I'm telling you to do it for you, and I'm telling you that you have the power to do it for yourself. You have that inside of you already. It was given to us at birth, probably before birth. It was given us. So we automatically have that power in us. That's the only power we actually have. We don't have the power to fix anybody else, but we definitely have the power to fix ourselves. And the more you do that, things start to happen inside of you. You can even start healing your own body because you're giving yourself loving kindness and you're aware of the things that cause. What is disease? Dis-ease. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. It's dis-ease inside yourself. And you look at somebody that has a disease and I would say probably 90%. There may be some born with it, but I would say 90% of the people, it comes from something that they've been doing their entire life, telling themselves, suffering inside. And anytime you do that, it's creating something not only in your mind, but in your body. And the more you heal your soul, the self inside, your body starts to heal too. It's an amazing thing. And it's scientific, actually. It has been proven that your they call it attitude, affects your health. If you're stressed, you're more likely to have a heart attack, right? So de-stress yourself. How do you do that? We got a path right here. And this is true. This will relax that anxiety, frustration. It relaxes that. It lets it go. So the more you do that, the more you're healing yourself.
No, the less angry and the less anxiety and the less depression that you'll go through. I mean, for me personally, I have battled with anxiety and stress and bouts of depression here and there. And through learning everything and the more understanding I get and the more I use that understanding, the better I feel. Even today with that conversation I had with her, I would have been all up in it. Oh, I'll call him. I'll do this.
Right.
But today I was kind of like, what am I supposed to say here? It was almost put me on pause. Like, I was glad it happened right before I came here because I was like, I was trying to go down the old path of giving advice, but then it didn't feel right. Like I felt it. Like this isn't right for me right now.
Right.
But then it was like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna go now.
Yeah, that was good. Good. See, you were mindful about that. You were like, and you just talked to yourself. You were talking to us, but you were really talking to yourself.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. Did you see how she did that? She went through that whole thing inside herself. She was speaking to us, but she was speaking to herself. 100%. And that was good. There's nothing wrong. That was on point because you just went through steps over here. Right?
I
Telling
did.
yourself the
Right.
truth.
Yeah.
See how it works? It's automatic if we do it. It helps us. You'll start feeling better, right? You don't feel like you felt like when you were out there because you went through steps in here to let
because I was standing out there like kind of, I don't know, just paused. I felt like I was just sitting on pause, like, all right, well, I mean, okay.
Yeah, because you had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, and I think that was the first time I've ever felt that way.
Yes.
Usually I'm like, I'm all in, like, all right, let's get this going. Let's figure this out. You know, and I would take it on all to myself. Like, all right, let's bring it in. Let's do this. All right, coach, put me in.
Yeah.
But this time I was kind of like, I'm here and I'm listening, but then it's like,
yeah, but some things you don't have to listen. You can just go. You can just say, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm tapping out.
Tap out.
So, all right. So, do we want to do meditation? Anna has to leave here at 8:00. So, we got 8 minutes. Want to do an 8-minute meditation?
Sure.
All right. Let's sit up straight. Our hands in our lap. Breaths. As we breathe in, we're going to feel the air, coolness right here, coming in through your nose. We breathe out through our nose. We can feel the heat coming through our nose. Allow yourself to feel when you breathe in. Feel it go down into your throat, down into your chest, and into your stomach. And when you breathe out, feel it come back the same way. Allowing yourself just to be in this calm space. If your mind starts to wander, this moment in time with your breath. Breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your nose, out through your nose, in through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your nose, out through your nose. Allow yourself just to be. Take a breath in through your nose, follow it down, let it out through your nose. Slowly open your eyes. Let's do our metta. Metta Jeto Vimuttiya Karuna Jeto Vimuttiya Mudita Jeto Vimuttiya Ubeka Jeto Vimuttiya. Satu, satu, satu. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm happy everybody could be here. All right.